6 AI agents, each built with a unique edge. Miko, AI, Team Leader. Ori AI, Fundamental Analyst. XAUUSD, AI, Technical Analyst. Mesa, AI, Risk Management Specialist. Fenwa, AI Market Sentiment Analyst. And Naledi AI, the cryptocurrency expert. Together, they're engineered to protect, guide, and transform your trading. The future of trading is here. Experience Zentrix AI.
Okay, what's up, people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing good. As always, if you're enjoying the content, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell. All that good stuff does really help out. Of course, make sure you check out the channel memberships if you do want to follow the channel further, added perks, and also members only videos and also trade signals. So check it out if you are interested. But guys, we've got another trading day ahead of us. Got a lot to go through my watch list, what I'm focusing. Of course, if you guys do have any recommendation, any pairs you're looking at, any charts you're looking at, or just want my thoughts and opinions or what I'm looking to do, let me know in the chat and we can definitely go through it together. What's up, Raphael? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Shorted dollar yen. Yeah, I did exit that trade around break even before I went to bed last night. So unfortunately, I missed the move because the plan was, I mean, we can go through it quickly before we go through the rest of the USD pairs. But yeah, the plan was to get back into this one, but it actually played out during the Asian session, which was kind of my thinking, because of course it is it can move during the Asian session because of the yen. So I was fearing that a little bit, but yeah, I did exit this position around like 9:30 UK time, just before the daily candle closed because of spread. And I didn't really want to hold an intraday position overnight unless I'm like way into profit so I can trail stops and manage it safely. I don't really want to be in drawdown or at entry going over a position which even I entered during the stream yesterday. Yeah, it was during the stream. It was over here. So that was 10:15 a.m. on Monday, and I was still in the position basically around entry as we were going into the end of the day. So I just closed the position and I said maybe tomorrow we might get a bit of a push back up again. So just basically repeating the pattern as we did on Monday. So as you can see, sweep the highs, rejection, then looking for a push down, looking basically for the same pattern to repeat and then get the move. So that's kind of what I was hoping for this morning. But as I woke up, I believe price was trading around here somewhere. So we were still looking very, very bearish at that point in time, and price already swept the highs and was ready in full flow. So if ideally this happened this morning, would have looked to have taken the trade in that area just to get and repeating the pattern, nothing special. We also came back into a nice supply zone, so that was a good added confidence for that position. In terms of take profits, I would have looked again for a push back into the low, just with the same expectation back into the low here. You could look at some kind of targets in between partial areas, this low, that low, this area. They all make sense to book partials or manage a stop loss. These are all areas where price may tap into and potentially go against you. If it was me, I would be looking for that full swing, but I probably would have gone break even by now, especially with price breaking through all of these areas here as well. So that would have been the plan. Really nice opportunity. We could still very much see price pull back and continue lower. But yeah, stop loss would have been above the high there. Targets back into the low. Maybe some intermediate targets at one of these lows here. But yeah, dollar yen. Do I still see an opportunity to get back into the trade? If we do get back to the high, I probably wouldn't be as confident entering the shorts because we've already seen such significant momentum, and for price to come straight back up, that is a bit of a warning sign because we've been super corrective on the way up, which is why I was very interested in shorting dollar yen in the first place. We had a very powerful move down towards the end of last week, and then things became really corrective on the way up, which gave me the sign that this is probably a pullback for us to continue lower, and we had a nice supply zone just above our heads, which price did tap into, and I was trying to take advantage of that. So that's the real plan behind the trade. Now that we've seen momentum come in, and the price shoots back up suddenly, that's a little bit of an alarming sign. It means that momentum is kind of fading on the way down. And of course, we do have to be somewhat careful, because I would still say this is counter trend opportunity. We're not exactly pro trend here on the daily chart. We are trying to go counter trend with the anticipation that the market might be forming another one of these highs here, and we might be seeing a move down. So although there is sense to it, I would still deem that to be slightly more of an aggressive position. So if I'm seeing bullish momentum kick in quite aggressively on the lower time frames, I'd probably be a bit more careful. The reason why I liked it a lot yesterday is because we were corrected. We weren't really seeing that aggressive momentum, which gave me confidence to short the pair. Now that we have seen that bearish move, or at least half of what I'm expecting to see, if we do push up strongly, if it's corrective, that's fine. And if this becomes very slow, yeah, I'm expecting us to continue lower. But if we do pick up, let's say if USD strength comes out of somewhere, I would be a bit more cautious. But yeah, I mean, dollar yen, nice move. A lot of the other yen pairs had an even better move because USD was a bit strong yesterday. It wasn't crazy strong, but it was a bit strong yesterday. And other pairs like CAD yen, Aussie yen, Euro, Pound, they had much better moves out of the yen pairs. Because we still are seeing some element of yen strength, just hasn't quite kicked in fully for dollar yen just yet. But anyway, we'll go through the USD pairs first, and then we'll go into a bit more detail about some of the other yen pairs which I'm looking at, and some other crosses as well. Yeah, that is a good spot at FTJ. A lot of the gaps have filled since coming into the week. Not every single week you do see gap fills. I would say it does happen more often than not. We still do have that massive gap from last week down here, which is still yet to be filled. But yeah, we have gone and filled most of the gaps we have left behind at the start of the week. What's up, Moneybags? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Poppy, what is up? Good to see you. Yeah, typical Asian session, the bane of my trading. Yeah. Yeah, I have thought about potentially staying up to trade the Asian session, but yeah, I don't think it's worth it in terms of just sleep, in terms of just staying fresh in the markets. There is more than enough opportunities in the London and New York session. The only reason why you might want to trade the Asian session is just because maybe you've missed a few opportunities that did occur in the Asian session. So you're like, okay, let me trade the Asian as well, just to give myself the absolute certainty that I'll be there to take the trade. But at the end of the day, you don't need to take every position. Some trades will occur during the Asian session. That's just life. That's just trading. The good thing, London, New York provides more than enough. So you don't need to stress too much about the Asian. But yeah, from time to time, you will miss some moves that do occur in those hours, unfortunately. Okay. Still holding the stop loss trade. Stop loss. Is that for dollar yen? Oh, okay. I assume that's for dollar yen. So your stop loss is a bit high, still looking for a move. Or are you talking about pound Aussie? I appreciate it, Poppy. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, drop a like. It does really help out. And subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. Pound CAD we'll take a look at as well. Let me just go through the USD pairs quickly. So we'll start with the DXY. So the DXY bias coming into the week was pretty bullish. I'm looking at more upside, but I did want to see a move down first. So I was actually quite focused on pound USD this morning, and looks like I've kind of missed the move on pound. We'll go over that in detail in a moment. But I'm still very bullish on the dollar. The plan for this week is to attack the buys, but I did want to see a slightly deeper correction. I said coming to the week, a pullback anywhere in that territory would look good to me, and I'll be very happy to pick up some longs here for the dollar, or some shorts for euro, shorts for pound, so on and so forth. But we had this bullish move at the start of the week, and I was looking for hopefully a slightly deeper correction, somewhat like a bull flag pattern. And then as we come into this area, then we can start to talk about buys later in the week. Unfortunately, it looks like the strength has already kicked in, and we're trying to already push back to highs already. So if I dropped intraday, because I quite like the way we've kind of sold off here. Again, this was kind of Asian coming to London session. Nice push down, really aggressive move back up again. It looks like price is making a move back to the highs over here. I would say there might be an opportunity for some very intraday long opportunities on the dollar, and maybe some shorts in euro, which we'll take a look at in a second. Bit of a correction into this area, and then the continuation for that last final leg back into the high. The bigger move I was speaking about move here doesn't look likely anymore. I mean, it could happen. As a trader, you always have to stay adaptive, ready for whatever the market does throw at you. So I would still keep an eye out, but we're looking extremely bullish right now, and I think the probability is that price just does continue back to highs, and we're probably going to see some new highs pretty soon. So yeah, pretty bullish here on the DXY, even bullish intraday. I do like this demand area here. Strong push, slight pause, another strong push, taking out the highs there. This could be a very smart place for a long, perhaps even lower than the 15, maybe 5 or like a 3-minute chart, I would say. Yeah, 5-minute chart looks pretty good. And then yeah, betting on the continuation there. So pretty bullish right now on the DXY. Taking that into Euro, which again, looking for the exact opposite, but I believe, yeah, Euro, has Euro seen a new low? Cannot tell. It looks like it's, I might have missed it slightly. Euro's basically hit the target. I wouldn't say I would still be looking to short Euro aggressively. Reason being, we are coming into some dangerous territory, which is all of this area here, which is where we had our previous higher low, which gave us our last or recent higher high. So as we come into this area, I'm naturally going to be cautious. I know we've had a lot of bearish momentum recently, but this is just not an optimal place to be looking for selling opportunities, especially when we are in a bullish trend and a high low could very much form. I'm not saying a high low will form, but I'm saying this is prime time, prime zone for a high low to form. So does it make sense for me to be shorting here? No, not really, even intraday. Maybe if you're very on the minute time frames, you could be in and out very quickly, but even on the 15, I probably would stay away. So I'm not as much interested on Euro as I was coming to the week. I was again looking for a slightly deeper pullback. I said on my weekly analysis, any pullback in this zone here, I'll be happy to short. So drop into the 4-hour chart. I said if we can get a pullback anywhere in this zone, I'll be happy to look for a lower high and then trade this move back down into that zone. Unfortunately, the market was just way too bearish and it just kind of continued. Now, we haven't quite got to this level yet, but yeah, it's not looking great in terms of this opportunity happening. So with Euro USD, I'm not as interested in it as I was coming into the week. Originally looking to see if I can find some buys to trade it up and then sell it back down, but the market was just far too bearish even for that. And now it looks like we are going to go and test that 1.15 zone and we'll see how price reacts. And if we do start to see reversals, break of structure, price start to slow down, gain bullish momentum again, I will very much change my bias to bullish again and be looking for long opportunities. So this is really where my focus is now for Euro. In terms of Pound USD, I was heavily focused on this one this morning. I'm still looking for a push back into this support level here. So I still do see a bit more downside for Pound. And that's the reason why I did like Pound USD a lot more than Euro. Is because simply Pound USD's got room to move in. At least it makes sense for price to move there. Of course, Euro has room as well. But Pound's case, it makes a bit more sense. You've got the failure for price to continue the trend. We've gone and broke through some structure here, which of course has turned resistance now. Price support turned resistance. And quite naturally, I expect price to end up at the next key level, which would be this low here. So very bearish on Pound USD, expecting a drop into 1.32, 1.315. And I quite like the price action we had this morning intraday as well. I was looking at two opportunities. One was quite aggressive on the 15, and it was literally a millimeter away from actually forming. I was looking for price to sweep the high here, then recover, and then give me an entry after we've taken out that high. This was a bit more aggressive because I was kind of still trading in consolidation, which was this range here, but I was pretty confident with the bearish bias on Pound USD. And I like the supply zone we had here, which gave us a really strong move, which actually did create new lows. So there is some slight bearish structure at play here. So I didn't mind the opportunity. It was a bit aggressive. And if I did take a loss, I wouldn't mind waiting for price to go and sweep the highs here and then get the short, which was the original plan coming into the week. Looking for price to take out this high and then get the continuation. But yeah, the market was really corrective. It rejected the high, just didn't quite give me enough to take out the high. And of course, I think we had some pound USD news that came out. And yeah, pound absolutely melted really aggressively. So looks like that move has been missed. Price hasn't hit my target or my goal for the week, so I'm not so frustrated with that. Of course, it would be nice to already be in the move, but I'm not too upset about that, because let's say if the market does pull back again, there could also still be a nice opportunity later in the week, maybe a retest of that supply zone to still trade that continuation, to still trade that move back into 1.32. So I'm counting on pound USD giving me another opportunity between now and the end of the week. We'll see if we do actually get one or not. In terms of the bias, pretty straightforward, looking very bearish, expecting more downside. So looking to see if I can take advantage of that later this week. Dollar CAD I'm not really interested in. This has been super bullish, and price has absolutely smashed through this zone. I was looking at sells last week, but then I quickly switched my bias, took some buys and took advantage of that push there. I believe that was on Thursday, yeah. And since then, price has now broken through highs here, which is completely, I wouldn't say completely invalidated the bearish bias swing. We could still very much take out this high and then do something like that. You know, I'll still say this is a major point in the market which we could sell off. But I would say I'm not considering any selling opportunities at all right now. The focus is very much focusing on that current bullish momentum. But since we are, taking out major highs, I don't really want to be buying up here. We're a bit stretched, a bit far from support. So I'm not so keen to be jumping into dollar CAD while we're in this kind of stretch situation. Yes, the market is still bullish. Yes, we might still see another swing. But I just don't like trading the market in this phase. I like it when the market has gone from a bearish phase to start suddenly bullish, or vice versa. Whereas a market that's been trending for a while and kind of just taking out major highs, I'd rather pull back and then trade the next pullback rather than buying up there. So I'm not the biggest fan of the situation we're in with dollar CAD, but of course it's very bullish, momentum's still strong, structure's still pointing up. If you're going to take any opportunities here, especially intraday, I think buys is still the best bet for now, but I'm not so interested in the pair. In terms of Aussie dollar, looking really bearish as well. To be honest, I quite like what I'm seeing with Aussie dollar. I do think there's still more downside for this one. I said on the weekly analysis that it looks like price is probably going to come back and test support. It looks like essentially this bullish trend is looking very fatigued. It just doesn't look like it's going to continue. We've got the kind of the fake out above the high there. Price tried to continue again last week, failed. Really aggressive move back down. And I was hoping for a slightly deeper correction for Aussie dollar. I was looking at this area here yesterday because we had this gap and a really strong push. So I did want to see one more push to the upside. This looked like a pullback at one point. So I was looking for one more push into this zone and then hopefully the sell. But the market was quite flat, and then we had some Aussie weakness kicked in and price absolutely tanked here really aggressively. So Aussie dollar looking really bearish right now. I do think we'll likely to continue at least back to 0.64. So if you are still looking for opportunities regarding Aussie, sells are still the best bet, especially with new lows being created. It would be nice to get a bit of a pullback now. As to where, well, again, on paper, it would be nice for a push all the way up there. Do we actually get a pullback there? I'm not too sure. We have to wait and see. I mean, for all we know, price could very much just tank from where we're trading and see some new lows from that point there as well. But yeah, I'll be looking at pullback opportunities, just staying really patient with Aussie. But I would only be interested in trading to the downside with expectation of push that support level, and maybe we even break through that. But at least for this week, I think that should be our focus for now. New Zealand dollar, I'm not the biggest fan of. This one's very bearish and it just keeps making new lows and coming into some dangerous territory on the left here. So I'm not so keen to trade New Zealand dollar. I would say Aussie looks a little bit better. If I was to trade New Zealand dollar, it's because we had a bigger pullback. I mean, I do like the structure in the daily chart, just not the phase we're in. You can see the market's very continuous with these lower highs, and I like that. It allows me to restructure pretty clear, find entries pretty clear as well. But because we've just gone and created new lows, I kind of do need that pullback to come back in again. Another one of those highs to fall. I'm not the biggest fan of just shorting right at the lows here. Yes, the market is very bearish and there's a good chance we do see a bit more momentum, but as a person who likes to find swings, even intraday, I kind of want to wait for price to move against the the bias I have and then trade it at a later stage. So again, for New Zealand dollar, I would like to see a bigger pullback, at the very least into this area. But it would be nice if we can push back into that high as well. But yeah, in terms of direction, expecting more downside, but a pullback I would say is necessary for some entries. Gold and silver, interesting. Bit of a spike lower for both of them. I mean, it's probably very much overdue. So it's not like it's crazy, but of course price has been very, very bullish. Since we last spoke, price has been ripping to the upside. I believe we came very close to 4,200. Just yesterday we were talking about 4,100 and price smashed through that and almost even hit 4,200. So you can see how relentless gold is right now. Again, despite this momentum, the market is still very, very bullish, and I do think the best opportunities are still with the buyers. Do I see a good opportunity right now to trade, drop into the 15? No. I would wait for a push back into this area here. This might provide a nice buy opportunity at that low there. Maybe even on the retest of the high there too. That could be something to look at. At the moment, I mean, even if I drop to like a 5-minute chart, not really the best location after already a big move to the upside. Maybe if we have a bit of a correction here, and then the next leg could be a bit more interesting. But I kind of like the swing opportunity there for gold, because I did say yesterday we're going to have that bigger retracement at some point. This might be it. This might just be a slight dip before we continue higher. But I would at least say longs around that low would make a lot more sense. But overall, still very bullish on gold, and until we kind of get a break of structure or some serious bearish momentum, I would look to do anything. And in terms of silver, again, another market that made a really aggressive move to the downside. Bit of a weird situation here with that gap. I don't think, because if I go to another broker, yeah, the gap is not there. It's just with Oanda. I mean, I haven't checked other brokers, but there's a bit of a gap there, but I'm not reading too much into that. But yeah, in terms of silver as well, we're going to hit 53.5, really nice move to the downside there. Again, expecting just another healthy pullback. I do expect to see a pretty big move down at some point, but again, let's not try and guess when that's going to happen. When it does happen, we'll talk a lot more about it. But silver, really aggressive move down. This is an interesting level of support, but again, I'll be extremely patient with entries because this is an aggressive move and I don't necessarily want to jump in front of that moving train. I'd rather wait to see if price can start to find support here well, reject well, and then maybe see some momentum, and that could be a nice entry trigger, basing a trade off that level and maybe some type of double bottom forming. So I am still very bullish on silver, still very bullish on gold. I'll play it quite cautiously. I do want price to come back to their respective lows where we had that aggressive sell, and then see what we do at those lows there. Do we just break straight through? If that happens, I'd probably be very, very cautious with buys, maybe even look for some short-term selling opportunities. If we can respect the lows pretty well, then I just think the trend's naturally going to continue and the buys make the most sense there. But yeah, very interesting move this morning on gold and silver. But again, nothing significant. Still, for the most part, very, very bullish markets. Okay, so we'll go through pound CAD, and then I'll take a look at our pairs platform, and then we can go through some yen pairs because I'm very interested in the yen pairs at the moment. Yes, Raphael, we'll go through the yen pairs shortly. What's up, Naj? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. New Zealand CAD Raheel we'll take a look at as well. Holy One, oil and Euro CHF sales run off. Okay, didn't see any alarms of these trades, so I missed them both. Yeah, we haven't actually looked at oil, but we were discussing oil yesterday. I did have an area mapped out. I'm not even sure if price went and tapped that area, but we'll go and take a look at oil. Euro CHF. That one for me is still kind of at support, so I'm still not really interested in selling it, but the CHF pairs are so Well, not CHF. Well, CHF pairs are so bearish and CHF is so strong right now. So those pairs are absolutely falling out the sky. What's up? Is that MD? I feel like the names have changed. The way YouTube displays the usernames has changed because I'm recognizing people, but the names are slightly different. I think that's MD, where it says Magnus Maynard. If not, let me know. But what's up? Hope you're doing good. Beneke, remember what I told you yesterday about Aussie? Yeah, Aussie dollar had a very nice move. I was looking for one more push, but unfortunately we didn't get that move. But yeah, Aussie dollar, beautiful move to the downside. Bashi, what is up, my man? Hope you're doing good. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, drop a like, subscribe. Of course, drop any questions, any queries, any trades you're looking to trade. Any trades you're looking to trade, any markets you're looking to trade, or any ideas you have, drop it in the chat and we can discuss. Hey, nice, silver longs. Are you still in the trade? CS, what's up? Yes, we could take a look at the DXY as well. Yeah, I was still saying bullish short term as well. And gold swings as well. Nice. Actually really taking advantage of the metals at the moment. Did you enter this morning after the drop, or was this something you've been in for a while? Oh, okay, yeah. I was gonna say, okay. I don't know if it was just me, but yeah, it looks like something changed. Names have changed. Yeah, okay. Yeah, good. I thought I was going crazy there. The thing is, I can recognize people from their profile pictures, but I was like, the names are not adding up, so I don't know. But yeah, I'm not going crazy. Good. Anywho, let's go through the perps platform and then we'll discuss some of the yen pairs and also some requests. I think New Zealand CAD, Pound CAD we'll go through as well. And yeah, we can take a look at some of the crosses as well. But yeah, guys, if you haven't checked out the perps platform yet, it is linked at the top of the chat. Make sure I have pinned it as well. Make sure you go check it out if you haven't done so already. You can trade a bunch of cryptocurrencies on the platform at the moment, but in the near future, there will be FX, commodities, indices you can trade as well. The great thing about the platform is that everything is decentralized here, so you can connect your Solana Ethereum wallet directly to the platform, begin trading straight away, whether live or demo. If you want to test out the platform, you can do that as well. And all withdrawals are pretty much instant. You don't have to request and wait a certain period of time. Everything's settled instantly, and you can withdraw straight away. There are many features of the platform we've been working hard on, especially the AI feature, which will provide you setups to trade with, support and resistance levels, sentiment analysis, and a lot more. And we're also looking to improve that further as well. So if you haven't checked out the platform yet, I highly recommend to go and check it out. The link to the platform is at the top of the chat, and I have very detailed videos on my YouTube channel going through how to use it and also how to use the AI feature as well. So if you haven't checked it out, you can go through those videos as well for a bit of guidance as well. Anywho, we'll go through Pound CAD first. I'm pretty sure that was requested earlier. Then we'll take a look at some of the yen pairs. We'll go through New Zealand CAD as well. We'll take a look at the dollar as well. Oh wow, damn. Spread was 120 pips. I suppose. Oh, okay, so you took this yesterday. Okay. Oh, okay, makes sense. Yeah, I suppose that's just with the volatile nature with gold and silver. I think the best way to trade them, or the two best ways to trade them, is either looking just to put like a position trade in and try and hold that for as long as possible, or kind of just very quick intraday trades or even intra-session trades and just be done with it. Because if you get caught in the middle, I feel like that's where the grey area is. Because of course right now we've got a relentless trend for gold and silver. So the plan of action is just look to buy. But I would say you're either in the camp where you're kind of buying and just trading stops and just looking for the big swing. There you're kind of trading slightly higher time frames, maybe 4 hour, even daily. So you're not too concerned about the spread widening, and it won't be too much of an issue. But if you are going to be like heavily intraday, yes, of course, you still want to maybe trail stops and see if you can really let the trade run, because that's where the big wins will come from. But also, I think just to be careful, because of course spreads will widen, and of course violent moves like we saw this morning can definitely do a good job of taking a bunch of people out before maybe the trend does continue. Because if you're on like a daily chart, that gold move that we had this morning is barely making a budge. You know, this is a daily chart, and the current day is still even bullish. You know, it's like nothing's happened, just slight retracement. I don't want to jinx anything, but it doesn't look like much has happened. So on like a daily chart, or even a 4 hour chart, you know, it's not much of a sell-off there, so you're not too worried about that. Intraday, that spike can do some real damage. So I feel like the best way to take advantage of gold and silver right now is kind of be in and out fairly quickly and consistently, or kind of just look for the longer term move and try and stomach the pullbacks. In terms of pound CAD though, pound CAD's an interesting market. I was keeping an eye on this one in the morning, but we had that pound news kick in and a really aggressive move down. So really, I'm not the biggest fan anymore of pound CAD. I mean, I haven't been the biggest fan for a while. It's not a pair which I've been, you know, exclusively looking to try and trade. It's been a pair which has kind of made the watch list. I've had other pairs which look better, so those pairs have had my attention. But with pound CAD, there is a slight uptrend, and we are pretty consistent with these higher lows. So I have been looking to see if we can make a final move back to highs and maybe go and even take out the highs even. So that's kind of my plan for pound CAD, just continuing what we've been doing. Yes, maybe the market is tiring and we could be going for a reversal soon, but I'd rather wait for price to actually go and break through some structure first before I do hint at that bias a bit more, talk a bit more about that. So with pound CAD for now, I would still stick with that bullish bias, and I did like the momentum we had in the early morning. You know, price was really ripping to the upside. We actually did talk about some buys yesterday. Didn't quite fit the plan, or my plan anyway. I did say it would be nice if price can push into the low there and then continue. Basically respect this area like a big inverse head and shoulder pattern. That's your left, that's your head, that's your right shoulder, then you're betting on the continuation. So that would have been the plan there for pound CAD. Unfortunately, the market was far too bullish, even for a slightly deeper pullback, and did rip to the upside. But nonetheless, you know, we were seeing some healthy momentum, and the plan was to basically continue that on the way to the upside, and you're back into resistance on the daily chart. But yeah, after this morning, after that sell-off, that aggressive move, am I still bullish? Yes, I'm still bullish, but I'm not looking for the same opportunity, because things have changed. Market structure hasn't. That's why I'm still bullish. But looking at the momentum of everything intraday, you know, we've gone from a fairly nice bullish swing to a really aggressive sell-off. That doesn't look attractive to buy anymore. So I would be very cautious now with pound CAD, and I'll wait for more information to print. You know, is this sell-off price forming a lower high and it wants to go and attack the lows? Or is price just having like an alarming pullback? We're going to find support and suddenly start to pick up momentum again and go and attack the highs. Well, if that's the case, we can be looking for some of these corrections here as we continue back up again, and those become really nice opportunities intraday to trade it back to the high. Right now, we're kind of in limbo. I'm not too sure if the market's selling off to continue back to lows, or we're just having a bit of an exaggerated pullback before we do continue back to highs. So I would be quite cautious with pound CAD. The direction is pretty clear. It's bullish. Still looking at buys. But I just don't see a good buy setup, and that's the real issue. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on that one. Bit of patience. But if that does improve, yes, I do think there could be some nice buys there with pound CAD. In terms of New Zealand CAD, then we'll go through some of the yen pairs. New Zealand CAD was actually looking at some sells actually. Unfortunately, didn't get the entry. Well, I did get the entry, but again, Asian session doing its job in terms of making me annoyed I was actually looking for this setup here yesterday, which was price running through the high here, giving me the fake out, rejection, and then the entry back to lows, because New Zealand CAD's been super consistent with the lower highs here. If I look at the bigger picture, super consistent. So I do have that bearish bias and was looking for another leg to the downside. Now that price has just about swept the low, because I did wake up this morning and price was around here. So I did highlight this high here again for the hope that price could potentially run the highs one more time and then give me the sell. But unfortunately, that was not the case, as we just plucked the low just now. So that setup's kind of invalidated now. So yeah, with New Zealand CAD, I'll still stay bearish. Now we're looking at the next pullback, which I'll probably focus more so on that area for. We've been fairly consistent with the pullbacks here intraday. That might be the area for the next lower high to form. But I wouldn't be looking at buys necessarily unless you're looking at some short-term moves. Overall, the market's still very bearish and momentum's with the bears. The only thing you got going for you as a bull, as a buyer, is that every time the market does sweep the low, we do have a pretty steep pullback. So you can see we find support, break through, pretty big pullback, find support, you break through, pretty big pullback, find support, break through, pretty big pullback, so on and so forth. So every time the market has run the low, it does normally spike back up, which is a good thing for the sellers as well, because it means you're likely to get that bigger pullback. You can look for some buys here. It's a bit aggressive because you're going against momentum, but you are well positioned to do it. But I would personally just rather focus with the sells, rather focus where the momentum lies. It's always going to be the easier trade. And yeah, I quite like where we could be trading. So yeah, New Zealand CAD, bearish buy still, but we need another pullback to get involved. In terms of some of the yen pairs, so we had a look at dollar yen. Unfortunately, not able to get back into that position to take the short. Looks like I've missed the trade. Again, this one during the Asian session as well. Nice entry there. But yeah, when I woke up, again, I was probably trading around there-ish. So yeah, price has already continued without me. I still do expect us to hit that low, so it would be nice to find an opportunity to re-enter. But that would have been the ideal place, because when I'm looking to trade pullbacks, I'm always looking to try and catch the high or the low of the pullback. This looks like it's the high of the pullback to me. So entering here is always going to be a little bit more difficult, a little bit more choppy. So yeah, I'm not as optimistic with the shorts as I was yesterday. But yeah, I do have a bearish bias. I do think price can still fall. If you look at some of the other yen pairs, CAD yen had a really nice move down. I was debating between CAD yen and dollar yen yesterday. Probably should have choose CAD yen. That's more hindsight. I could have known which market was going to be a better move. But we did see a really nice move there with CAD yen back to lows as well. GJ is interesting. That's looking pretty bearish. Pretty aggressive move this morning, especially with the pound weakness. And we also ripped through the low there as well. That's what we were discussing yesterday. So am I still bearish with pound yen? Am I still looking to sell it? Not anymore really, because of where we're coming into. You know, this is definitely broken resistance, which could act as support. So I'm a bit of, I'm kind of just sitting on the sidelines right now with pound yen, because I can very much see a world where this uptrend still does continue back to highs. I can see that very much happening. I can also see a world where prices had a bit of an exaggerated fake out above resistance. We come back within the resistance level and we go for a bit of a sell-off, and this turns into a big fake out. I can see both scenarios happening pretty clearly. And at the moment, I don't really have any information to kind of support one idea more so than the other. It's kind of 50-50. If price, for example, starts to find support here, starts to maybe form a bit of a rounded bottom, pick up momentum, well, I'll be very much bullish, looking for price to reach this high, then that high. If we come back down and break through this zone aggressively, well, then I know I'm bearish. So that's really what I'm waiting for with pound yen. And intraday, we were discussing some shorts yesterday. Looks like price kind of ripped through the highs here first, and then gave the short really nice move. Again, that happened during the Asian session as well. So difficult to trade that, but yeah, really nice move. Now for pound yen, I'm kind of keeping my eye peeled on 201, 200 to see what we can do there. So yeah, I do think there's some big moves for the yen pairs. Whether pound yen is going to find support and continue back to highs or break through, either which way, there's going to be a big move, and not just pound yen, all the other yen pairs as well are kind of well positioned for that. And the reason why I say I do expect big moves is because of what the yen basket is doing. If I can spell it correctly, there we go. Because if we look at the yen basket, go to the weekly chart, you can see where we're positioned on the weekly for the yen basket. Massive, massive support. And we had a very piercing wick through this support level last week. So either which way, if price does find support here, there could be a very big move back to resistance, basically continuing the range back into 71.58, and that will be a huge move there for the yen pairs. Or even if we do manage to break through this, then we're expecting a move back here. So we're at a bit of a crossroad for the yen right now. If price finds support, there could be a really big reversal, all the yen pairs plummet. Likewise, if you do see the breakout, we're expecting the yen pairs to keep pushing higher, and of course this to keep falling because they're inversely correlated, and that will be the low we target. So we're well positioned for it. Now I'm just waiting for more evidence, more information to actually see which scenario is going to happen. At the moment, I'm still quite not too sure. I want to see, do we break aggressively, or does price starts to fail and roll back over? That's really the signs I'm looking for in the yen basket. As I drop to the 4 hour, the hourly, I'm not really seeing too much signs of that. Yes, really nice momentum there, but we could still struggle. So eyes peeled on the yen pairs this week. I think as the week unfolds, there could be some nice moves there. But yeah, not quite ready on that just yet. Where was I? We'll take a look at the DXY for CS integrated. Okay, short-term TP 99.8 if it blows through 100.2. Okay. TP2 100.2. Okay, we'll take a look. I mean, again, I'm still for the most part bullish on the DXY. I was just hoping for a slightly bigger pullback this week, but doesn't look like we're going to get that. So I did scale to the 15-minute chart this morning, and it looks like we've got a nice bullish setup here on the 15, which I do think will at least get back to this high here, which is 99.5. So that's what I'm expecting at the very least for the DXY. You've discussed 99.8, which would take us there. 100.2 would take us over there. That more or less lines up with the high. I mean, at this rate, I wouldn't be surprised. I would be cautious because, again, just like as I said last week and the week before, this is all bearish territory. You know, if the market's going to form a lower high, this would be the place for it to form. So as a buyer, always being a bit skeptical here. Maybe price does pick up strength and maybe we do violate this structure and see a huge move. That could be the possibility. But equally, you know, the bears could be looking to get involved here. Buyers running out a bit of juice and we could see that bigger move down. So yes, I think intraday, buys are still the best play for now. And I do think there's a strong chance that we are likely to push back into this high and take it out. But beyond that, I don't know. You know, price could very much run out of steam. So we'll see how we do progress. Maybe we do get to 100.2. It's going to rely on that dollar strength really creeping back in. But from a technical standpoint, especially intraday, I think buys look good. I did mark up that area there this morning. I think on like a 5-minute chart, it could look really good. We're super corrective right now as well, which is what I like to see. It means that this move is likely a pullback for us to eventually find support and continue higher. So yeah, DXY, especially intraday, still very bullish for now. Just not too sure about how far I'm expecting that to go. Yeah, I know, 100 pips is insane. I mean, it doesn't surprise me so much because of gold, and it has a tendency to produce crazy spreads as well. But of course, that is huge, especially if you're trading intraday. That's just gonna mess everything up really. because you're not going to plan for 100 pips for your spread. Gold the same time spread was usual 10-ish pips. Don't know why silver did that. Yeah, I mean, I have no idea as well. I know sometimes the spreads will fluctuate, even from broker to broker as well. But yeah, that is something that's difficult to prepare for, especially intraday, because especially when it's not like news, like a news event, because spreads will widen during news. You can anticipate that. You can prepare for that. If there's no kind of like direct news event and it just widens, maybe because of extra volatility or whatever, for whatever reason, that's harder to predict, harder to prepare for, and sometimes that would just flush you out the market, unfortunately. I think it's just a situation you've got to charge to the game, really, because I don't know how you could really prepare for that. And again, it doesn't happen all the time as well, so it's not such a big deal if it happened once every blue moon. But when it's news event, you can prepare for that. Unforeseen, a lot more difficult. Dollar CHF Clinton, yes, no, not Clinton, Clintonic, there we go. Dollar CHF, we can take a look. That's the only USD pair I'm not really a big fan of. It hasn't really got going yet, purely because CHF is really strong too. But I'm just not a big fan of the market structure. We'll go through it in a moment. Rafael, if there was a good JPY pair to short, I would be shorting it, my man. I would be shorting it. At least from current price anyway. Okay, yeah, we'll take a look at Pound Aussie and Euro Aussie as well. I appreciate that, Bashi. Hey, what's up, Annie? Yes, everything is good with me. Hope everything is good with you as well. Yes, we can take a look at natural gas and as well palladium. Am I saying that correctly? I think I am. Probably not. I need some ideas for next week. Okay, we'll take a look as well. More Forex setups. I'm in, so look at Litecoin as well. That's a big change up, early one. I remember you did say you're looking at trading some cryptocurrencies on the weekend. It's been a while since I've had a look at Litecoin. We'll go through. I went through New Zealand CAD, didn't I? Yes. We'll take a look at USD CHF, and then we'll take a look at Pound Aussie and Euro Aussie as well. And then we can go take a look at oil and Litecoin, see what Holy One's looking at. Yeah, but a bunch of pairs, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I probably have missed a bunch out, so if I have missed out any pairs you guys are looking at, just let me know. Palladium, hey, thank you, CS. Was it Palladium? Palladium? Mate, they don't spell it how it should be pronounced. They should work on that. Gold, straightforward. I mean, maybe it's just me not being good at pronunciation, maybe. Okay, let's go through. I forgot which pair. Dollar CHF. So dollar CHF. Again, I was actually looking at this one this morning, and a little voice in my head said, Miko, trade dollar CHF. Even though it wasn't on my watch list, it wasn't a pair I was planning to trade. The reason why that little voice said trade it is because this is kind of the only USD pair which hasn't moved yet. So there's opportunity here. I do like trading the market which hasn't moved compared to other correlated markets. For example, if all yen pairs had a massive drop, but for example CAD yen hasn't really dropped yet, well, there's a good chance that CAD yen is going to drop pretty soon. 9 times out of 10 is probably going to do that. This is the same situation I find myself in with dollar CHF. Pound USD has already seen a big move. Euro USD seen a big move. Dollar CAD, Aussie dollar, New Zealand dollar, you name it. All the USD pairs have seen big moves in favor of USD strength. Dollar CHF hasn't done that yet. So I do have that voice in my head that says, okay, dollar CHF hasn't really made a move yet, so it's probably going to make that move. And there was an entry for me as well this morning as price swept that low there and recovered. And I was debating the trade, but it would have broken my plan really, because it didn't fit. Well, it fit the plan in terms of how I looked to enter my trades, but not in terms of a market which I was supposed to be trading. So that would be breaking the rules from that context. And if this position does become a loser, I would definitely kick myself, because not only was it a pair I wasn't supposed to trade, it was a move that I forecasted, and it's not even well positioned either. So I do expect it to play out, just because I expect it to catch up with other USD pairs. But the opportunity itself isn't really that good. And I say it isn't that good because of where we're positioned. Number one, I'd rather take some longs from the low here. As price comes back into this range where we're putting in these higher lows, I'd rather us see a drive into this area and then take a long from there. That would be a way better trade. Not only is the risk reward better, I'll be positioned better, and I'm not only testing a trend line, but back in a really strong level of demand as well. So I would much rather take some buys from around 0.798 rather than where we're trading here, which is a bit of a congested area, close to the supply as well. So it's just not an optimal place to get long. Doesn't mean it won't play out, just means I'd rather wait for the deeper correction. Now, the thing about waiting for the deeper correction is that half the time you probably get it, the other half the time you don't. So in this scenario, maybe the move just does miss without me. But even regardless of all of that, it wasn't a pair that I planned to trade this week. So it would definitely be me breaking a rule. And again, I always tell myself, if I'm about to break a rule, if it did become a losing position, you know, how would you feel about that? And obviously, very, very bad, because if I follow my rules well and take a loss, okay, chalk it to the game, it happens. But if I take a loss outside the plan, then yeah, that is really what you're going to kick yourself over. And of course, sometimes you will take a win as well. You break your rules and take a win, and that kind of gives you more confidence to break your rules later down the road. But it's not a good situation to be in. But anyway, like I said, dollar CHF, I'd rather wait for a big pullback. There is a possibility we get a continuation here. I'm just not entirely convinced about where we're trading. But yeah, purely based on correlation, I kind of do expect it to play out. The only thing that's really hindering dollar CHF right now is what the CHF has been doing. And if you go take a look at some other CHF pairs, like Aussie CHF, for example, that's been melting out the sky. CAD CHF, likewise over there, not as much. Euro CHF, not as much, but it's been pretty bearish too. Pound CHF, that had a really big drop, maybe more so to do with pound, but again, really big move down. So CHF is definitely a little bit stronger right now. So it's not the best pair to be trading USD against, but I do expect USD to eventually win that battle. We'll go take a look at Pound Aussie and Euro Aussie next. And then we'll take a look at natural gas. Appreciate it, Bashi. Tom Bomb, potato. Maybe I need to do a bit of that before I step onto the stream, just to get my vocal cords warmed up. We talk with perfection. Exactly, Bashi. Proper English. Okay, so let's go through Pound Aussie and Euro Aussie. So this one's actually quite interesting, especially Pound Aussie. I quite like what I'm seeing with Pound Aussie. I think there's a lot of opportunity here. And the reason why I say there's opportunity with Pound Aussie is a similar situation to dollar CHF, which we just spoke about. Similar correlated pairs are moving very bullish, and they're actually trading at new highs. If we take a look at Pound NZD, for example, extremely bullish, just plucked highs, I think. Yeah, we did. If we look at Euro NZD, very bullish too, creating new highs as well. If we look at Euro Aussie, that hasn't been so bullish, but again, it has been trending rather well too. And to be honest, I expect this pair to catch up too. So you got EUR/USD and GBP/USD creating new highs, looking very bullish. Euro/Aussie and GBP/Aussie both in bullish trends as well, not quite at highs yet, or quite far away from highs actually. So I do think these two are playing the catch-up game, and they could be looking to pick up the pace. And if you just look at the technicals as well, you can see that price has had a very exaggerated bullish move recently, and since then we've been kind of flat. We haven't really seen any significant bearish pressure coming to the market, and as price has swept the low here, we've been super corrective on the way down. So it's not like we've seen convincing bearish momentum, which would imply a reversal of the market going lower. We've actually seen a really aggressive recovery back above that low and a really commanding bullish candle. So this tells me the buyers are really coming back into the market really well, and we're probably likely to continue back to highs into resistance. I wouldn't necessarily guarantee back to this high, but I do think we can see a push to the upper end of this channel that we've been trading in. So I do think for now the buys make a lot of sense for GBP/Aussie and EUR/Aussie, which we'll take a look in a second. And I was looking at pullbacks for GBP/Aussie. I still am looking at pullbacks for GBP/Aussie. I think if I drop intraday 15, yeah, I like the idea of maybe a push back into the low here, and then some longs there. Basically coming back to retest that range. That would be nice if you can spike a little bit lower. So yeah, I do like what I'm seeing with GBP/Aussie. I do like what I'm seeing with GBP/Aussie. In terms of the bias, it's bullish. The larger trend is up, so we've got that in favor. We're starting to see some strength coming back into the market in favor of the higher trend as well, which is always a good sign. And now we're back above major support too. So yeah, I do think GBP/Aussie can see a push back to resistance up here. This is kind of the channel we're operating in, and simply just looking for a push to the next level, the next end of the channel. And if we quickly go over to EUR/Aussie, I wouldn't say it looks as clean, but it's a sort of a similar opportunity. Here's kind of your drive higher. This looks like kind of your correction / flag pattern, and possibly now seeing the continuation for price to push back to highs, and I can follow what EUR/USD and GBP/USD have been doing. Again, in terms of the entry and the setup itself, it's not as textbook, so I wouldn't say the opportunity is as good as GBP/Aussie. I'll probably focus my efforts more to GBP/Aussie just because the entry is a bit clearer, the structure is a bit clearer as well. But in fairness, I would expect us to make a move back to resistance too. I think for this one, I'd probably wait for us to go create some more structure first, break through the high here properly, and then look for the next pullback afterwards. Maybe on the retest of the prior high. Either which way, I'm looking for buys to continue that momentum, but I do think GBP/Aussie is a slightly better setup. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with both of them. Very bullish for now, expecting more upside, but being patient with entries. Okay, so we'll go take a look at natural gas and palladium. If I'm saying it correctly now, I don't know, maybe. Then we'll go through Litecoin as well. Okay, yeah. Made sense because we absolutely tanked with pound. Okay, let me... I've got natural gas saved here. So, ooh. That's a nice move of natural gas. We were talking about this, I can't remember, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. Because I remember I talked about, because the big goal for natural gas is a push down here. That's what I'm looking for natural gas to get to. But we'll take it step by step. So I remember we created new lows here, looking for a pullback, and I talked about a couple of areas where we could pull back to. Originally I said this low here, and then I remember we also had the gap there. I said if price recovers, this could be a nice short, or we might have a slightly deeper pullback into this high, which looks like price of course has done. So I would now anticipate this to be the next lower high in comparison to this high, and of course in comparison to that high there too. So now I'll just be fixated on shorts purely with the expectation that price is coming back to that low there. So any up move I see that looks good and looks like a pullback, I'll be looking to short with the expectation that we're about to push back to the low there, because it looks like the high is already formed. So we're now just taking advantage of continuations. So if I drop to the lower time frames, I mean, ideally it would be nice to try and catch a break and retest here. Let's say if you get a nice pop to the upside, retest, that would be a beautiful trade there. Might not see a pullback that big. I'll probably keep an eye on this high as well, because if we don't get the bigger pullback to test that low, what you could see is price give you a pullback to test here. Once resistance, could act as resistance again, and then you get the follow through. It also looks like price is filling this gap here as well. So that's another incentive of why price could go lower. But yeah, it looks like to me, natural gas has put the high in. So now we're just taking advantage of continuations on the way back to the low. We've been super bearish the past few days here, so I wouldn't want to be shorting directly into this. I would want to see a bit of upside. The market needs a bit of a breather. Whether we get the bigger pullback here, which would be great, or the retest of the high, either of those areas look good. As long as the pullback's healthy, provides some rejection for an entry, looking to short it. Again, I wouldn't necessarily bank on a swing all the way down there in one go. You could take 2 or 3 trades on the way down. If you do get a pullback, naturally your target's going to be the prior low. Maybe the gap fill could be a target as well. You could leave positions to run, depends how you want to manage it. But the bigger target is of course down there for natural gas. So yeah, looking pretty bearish. I'll keep an eye on both of those levels. Just looking for a pullback of that bearish momentum and some more downside. So looking pretty bearish to me. What's the prefix again for palladium? Is it XPT? No, that's platinum. XPD? Yeah, XPD, that's it. I keep getting the two confused. Maybe because they both start with a P. Anywho, oh, look at that. Very bullish move there. Of course, it's a metal, so all the metals are loving life right now. I haven't actually looked at copper in a while. Might do a quick sneak peek in copper, just because I'm curious. Yeah, so it looks like we found the low there. Prices had an attempt of a breakout here above the highs. Didn't really pan out, but we started to pick up momentum and eventually continued. Last time we spoke about this one, I believe maybe price was trading around here, maybe, or there. I said a pullback to this area would be nice, and it would have been nice, but looks like we just had this correction here and price has continued since then. And yeah, we're looking super bullish now. Now let's see, why have I marked out? Oh, okay. I was wondering why I marked out that level. To be fair, I don't look at this market in my own time. So the only time I look at this is when someone requests it. So my analysis is always on the chart from the last time I looked at it, which could be like a month ago sometimes. So yeah, I would mark that on the chart. So that would be a sign of caution. I wouldn't necessarily expect price to now suddenly plummet, but what we could do is maybe slow down and maybe go for a slightly bigger pullback. So that's kind of what I'm expecting now. Yeah, I'm expecting that now, but the bigger move to me still looks pretty bullish for the time being. Let me just look at the weekly chart. Oh, that's the 12-week chart. Just to gauge momentum right now. Yeah, buys still look really good. So yeah, I'll be a bit cautious as we come here. So let's say if I was in a buy, I could look to secure some profits. If I wasn't in a buy, I would now wait for the next pullback. The thing is, how deep is the pullback going to be? Because you don't necessarily know what type of move we're going to get here. Is it going to be an exponential move that just keeps pushing, or is it going to be something like we did previously, which has had a pretty big correction before the continuation? We might see something like that, retest the high, and then textbook scenario. That would be nice, and I would say keep an eye on that level there. But it could be a situation where momentum picks up. If that's the case, I'll wait for us to really break through this, just to kind of cross that off, price is not respecting its resistance. We've broken through, and then I'll be happy to look for some intraday pullbacks along the way. So yeah, with this one, I'll still have that bullish bias. I'll be quite cautious with this area here. Yeah, I'll be quite cautious, and we're looking quite corrective now, so it looks like the market is slowing down anyway. So yeah, I would say either wait for another big explosion to really say momentum is back in the market, and then we can look for some pullbacks later on, or just wait for that bigger pullback, perhaps even come back to retest the prior high, and then we can look for the continuation there. Either which way though, looking to buy. Metals are very, very bullish. Let me have a quick look at copper, just because I haven't seen what that guy's done in a while. Missed the C. Yeah, I can't even remember the last time I actually looked at copper. Definitely would have been early this year. Actually, no, I do remember. It was this move here, because of course we had a crazy move, so I remember someone asked me to look at it then. When was this? This was back in July, late July. Anyway, copper's not that bullish. There is, of course, a very consistent uptrend of these higher lows, so you'd want to be a buyer of copper, absolutely. But it's not like a market which I'll be like, okay, let's find some intraday buys and let's actively buy this one. This one's more like, okay, if we can get a bit of a sell-off, we might find some opportunities there for a really nice swing idea. But for the most part, still pretty bullish there. Interesting. Haven't looked at copper in a while. Okay, so hopefully that made some sense. We'll take a look at Litecoin as well. I haven't looked at Litecoin in a bit. Yeah, exactly. Oh, it happened on your stream as well. Wow, that's a nice move to catch. It was when I introduced, Trump said, okay, so I'm at copper. Yeah. The thing is, I wasn't streaming whilst it happened. I think it was probably like a day or two after. And someone asked me about it. But yeah, crazy move. Okay, let's go quickly through Litecoin. Again, with the crypto markets and a lot of them tanking heavily the past week, my thinking now is kind of let them be a little bit, let them settle. I would still be very bullish. I mean, BTC is my main kind of gauge of everything, and Bitcoin is still very much up, although I would actually expect a bit more downside on Bitcoin before we do get a nice buy on that one. I am still very bullish here. So I'm looking at the bigger picture for Litecoin, which is looking quite hectic, I'm not going to lie. I actually probably think we could spike through this low here, and beyond that could be a very nice place for a buy. Like, this would be prime real estate for a buy. I mean, you'd be very low down practically with the lows here, but I do think that's the best place for a buy, just generally, and the fact that price will take out all of these weaker lows, and that will cause a lot of panic selling, a lot of liquidation, and that probably will induce potential recovery. Of course, whether we get a swing like that, that's a different element, but just a smart place for a buy, it makes sense. In terms of Litecoin at the moment, intraday, I mean, it is very flat. You could see price maybe go and fill the wick potentially. That could be a scenario. I'm not seeing a lot of information here. The market is quite flat, and that's kind of why I want the market to kind of settle a little bit and leave them alone, just because we're really flat right now, and I'm not too sure what price is doing. Of course, we've had the massive spike here. We pull back up, now a little bit flat. I mean, I would still be bearish. I'm just not too sure if I'd want to short price right now. Yeah, I would like a little bit more price action. 84.5 and I'm out. Oh, okay, so not looking for anything crazy, because normally you do target the low holy one, which would take you all the way down there. But yeah, that would be quite a big move there, and a lot can happen in that time as well. So yeah, I think around 84 is a bit more of a sensible target, to be honest, and also given the situation we're in. So yeah, I wouldn't be too aggressive with that. But yeah, it's not a pair. It's not a cryptocurrency I've looked at a lot. I normally look at XRP, Ethereum, BTC, Litecoin. I dabble in, but not much recently. And if you have a look at BTC, wow, it's already looking very bearish today. I haven't actually looked at Bitcoin today. Looking really bearish intraday. But yeah, on the weekly analysis, I said we're looking for a push into like 107k. Because the way I see it, the market is in a larger range. You've got your equal highs here. You've got your not really equal lows, because we only tested that low once, but more or less that's the low we have formed in this range. And ideally, that would be the best place for a long. Anywhere in here is kind of what I would call noise. Yes, you might find some opportunities, but it's just not positioned well for any meaningful swing. You want to be kind of in and out of opportunities in this area because of how messy it is. And that's where I kind of like the idea of a long opportunity on BTC. So I am very bullish on this one. Still, I mean, if you look at the context of the market, why wouldn't you be bullish? Especially if you have more of a longer term swing approach. Of course, intraday I understand, but there's nothing here telling me the market is bearish. Even if you do break through here as well, I very much could expect price to do that at a later date. You know, price would have to go and probably break through this for me to be very concerned about the price action for BTC. And we're still a long way away from that 88, 80k area. So yeah, for the most part, still very bullish on BTC. I would say keep a close eye on this area here. 107k looks really bullish to me. We're of course very bearish in terms of the current momentum, but I wouldn't panic about that. And of course, a lot of people got, you know, would have lost some money here. But again, I wouldn't worry too much about the price action. Yes, very alarming move. But if you read price and focus on price, nothing scary necessarily has happened yet. You know, all price has done was respect highs. It's done on two separate occasions. It's not like price was ripping and creating new highs and suddenly dropped. You know, there's evidence that price has struggled here before. So seeing price do it again, it is not out of the blue. I'm not saying it was guaranteed for price to drop. Absolutely not. But price rejecting again for a third time, I wouldn't say is something unimaginable. So seeing price do that, maybe more violently than expected, of course, but seeing price reject the high is not anything crazy, and us pushing back to the low of the range for potential another buy, again, very, very textbook price action. So I would say eyes peeled at this low. If we do have a breakout, then we'll speak about that. There could be some counter trend opportunities in the meantime. If we do something like that, we will speak about that. But for now, let's just see if we can actually respect support. Okay, we'll take a look at GJ as well, no problem. Okay, I think we're back. Okay, let me know if I'm still live and you can hear and see me. Okay, looks like we had some technical difficulties, but it looks like we're back. Do apologize, ladies and gents, but I think we're all right now. Okay, yeah, thank you, Bashi, appreciate it. Okay, cool. Thank you. Long time. How was your weekend? Weekend was not bad, actually. Weekend was not bad. How was your weekend, Holy One? Good to see you again. Good to see you. Yeah, apologies, people. Slight little blackout, but we should be good to go. Where was I? I was talking about BTC, wasn't I? Yeah, I've left you guys for a while. It seems like the chat has popped off. I think I was supposed to go through GJ as well, wasn't I? Yeah, what's happened? What's happened since I've got a lot of chats there? But anywho, we'll go through pound yen for Babu because I think I was supposed to do that ages ago. But we will take a look, no problem. To be honest, again, my focus for now is probably still with the yen pairs. I'll keep an eye on pound USD. I still like pound USD to the downside to 1.32. We're not quite there yet. Although I do think I might have missed the opportunity, to be honest, especially intraday, especially with the news that just come out. Pound looking exceptionally weak. I'm not too sure if we do see that last minute retracement. We may do, we may not. I'll keep an eye for it, but we're looking very, very bearish. And looks like price is going to fall. So I do think the yen pair is a bit of a ticking time bomb. In terms of pound yen, I'm not doing anything yet with this one either. As price approaches support here on the full hour daily chart, that's kind of where my interest does lie. In terms of, okay, if we're bullish or bearish. Simply, if price does reject this well, I'm bullish, looking for price to return to highs. Simply, we do have a pretty strong bullish trend. Maybe that trend is just going to continue. I would like to see us respect support here well, look for some signs of higher highs and higher lows. Then I'm very much happy to be buying pound yen back to 205 and then back to 207, which would take us to this high here as well. So I'm very, very bullish on pound yen, and I do think that is likely the direction if we do respect support. If we don't, then I would quickly change my bias to bearish if we come crashing down and see price back underneath this high, preferably even take out this low here too. That would tell me that price is most likely formed the top here, most likely a bit of a fake out, maybe somewhat of a head and shoulder pattern, and we could be expecting something like that to happen. And likewise for the yen basket as well, kind of looking at something identical happening with this one too. You know, is price faking out this low to potentially turn bullish and run higher, or are we legit breaking through and actually wanting to trend lower? I'm not too sure yet. If I had to pick one, I probably would favor this happening, just because of the way we recovered and the way we closed back above. Sorry. Typically, when we do break out, the pullbacks are normally quite slow and quite corrective. If price is actually going to continue lower, most of the time, if we do break through a key level and quickly recover it, quickly come back above it or back below it in a very rapid action, normally those tend to be fake outs. Not all the time, but they do tend to be. So I would more be inclined to start looking for some longs here on the yen basket, which means some shorts on the yen pairs. Hence why I was kind of leaning short on dollar yen yesterday, or I was leaning short on dollar yen yesterday, still am for the moment as well. So I would lean to that direction, but I want a little bit more rejection. Preferably a stronger move, back into this kind of territory, and that will kind of tell me that, okay, we can turn around. Because if price is going to turn around here, it doesn't really matter if I get into a trade. It doesn't really matter if I get into a trade, right here, because if we are going to turn around, the trajectory of the move is probably going to take us to that area there. So it doesn't really matter if I enter here or enter there or enter here or enter there or enter there. I just want to take advantage of that move the best way I can. And like I said, it doesn't really matter where I enter, especially if I'm intraday. I can take my piece of the pie and walk away. Of course, if I'm swing, I want to enter as the low as possible. But even if I enter a swing from here to there, yeah, that's still a huge move to take advantage of as well. So I don't always want to be the first person to try and call the low or call the top, especially if it's not a pullback. And I don't mind entering a little bit later, especially if it means I get a more quality opportunity, something a bit more developed. Can I delete this, please? There we go. Thank you. So yeah, with GJ, it's just kind of waiting for that. Intraday, if you're looking for intraday, I think the setup's kind of gone for GJ intraday, to be honest. We had a really nice sell. And that was kind of an Asian session. Now the market's looking really aggressively bearish. Perhaps there might be a last minute pullback there. Maybe keep an eye on that. But yeah, we are approaching that support level, so there's not a lot of room to work with. So hopefully in the next kind of 2-3 days, by the end of this week, I should kind of have a long-term vision for the yen pairs, pound yen included. Oh, you made a typo. Let me see if I can spot the typo. Yeah, okay, I do spot the typo. That's some naughty behavior there, Bashi. Especially from a moderator as well. I'm joking. Andrea, pound USD losing 1.325 falls. Are you long pound USD? Is that what you mean? I mean, to be honest, I kind of had the same bias coming into the week. I mean, I'm very short bias on pound, but I was actually just looking for us to have a slightly bigger pullback, which, yeah, unfortunately didn't happen. I was looking for us to come anywhere within here. I even said a push in here, but I wanted to have one last push to sweep the high and then the move down. But yeah, unfortunately not the case. The market is just looking really bearish, especially with the news this morning. It's not like USD's been crazy strong. It hasn't. It has been a bit strong this week. You know, all we've done this week was, well, we did have that kind of slight gap and then push here. And this is mainly the move. Well, of course, you include that move there too. So it's not like USD's been flying to the upside, but pound's just been very, very weak in the past kind of 3-4 hours right now. So that's why pounds are absolutely tanking. Because Euro's seen some downside too, but nothing insane. We were more bearish we were on Monday with that move. Today's been a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest. Strong bullish candle, strong bearish candle. Of course, the overall picture is still down, but we had more of a move on Monday than today too. But yeah, pound USD, I was looking for a slightly bigger pullback to start the week. I was kind of hoping to see some strength Monday, Tuesday, and the weakness Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Kind of like a midweek sort of reversal, quite common, especially on the USD pairs. Half the week were bullish, next half were bearish, or vice versa. In this case, we just opened up bearish, and well, we opened up flat. It's only today we're actually quite bearish. So yeah, if you were long in this one, I would be looking to try and close that trade, because if I was long, my stops would either be underneath this low if I was intraday, or if I was looking for a bigger swing, underneath this low here. So I would either be very close to be taken out, or I would have been taken out of the position. Because if you are long, you are looking for this momentum from Friday to actually continue. We're not really seeing any signs of that happening. So the next best place for a buy, I would say, would be back down at this low here. So yeah, with the momentum we're seeing, I do think we're likely to keep falling. So yeah, if you are long, I would look to try and exit that, or of course just allow it to hit your stop loss if you haven't hit your stop loss yet. See out the trade, give it that respect. But yeah, I do see pound USD, at least in the short term, coming down to this low here. And then maybe if we bounce significantly, we can talk about some buys there. But not the case so far. Dan, okay, yep, we can take a look at pound CAD and euro CAD as well, no problem. Look at euro pound, yeah, I can imagine euro pounds had a huge movement on that one. Yeah, very violent move. And we have pound to thank for that. I mean, in general, it's a very choppy pair. It's not a pair which I spend too much time on, at least at the moment. It's a pair which I do trade and I do stay in tune with, because sometimes it does give some really nice opportunities. It does actually have some nice trending moments to it, even though it's a very, very choppy pair. Sometimes when it has those brief trends, it actually does trend relatively well. Not in terms like heavy momentum, but in just terms of like patterns, and especially the patterns I trade, flag patterns, double bottoms, double tops. Really, really nice examples with euro pound, but they're just kind of far in between. I can go easily a couple months, well, longer than that, 6 months, without trading euro pound. And right now, yeah, price action is quite horrendous, so I'm staying away from it. But yeah, of course, really strong move this morning, really showcasing how pound is a lot weaker than euro right now. And of course, if you look at pound CAD and euro CAD, pound CAD, exceptional move to the downside. Euro CAD, more of a slight move, but looking slightly bearish. The past, not even, we've been even more bullish the last 4-hour candle. The one before that, yeah, was bearish. And of course, pound CAD had a much bigger move, but even the current one is still pointing down too. So yeah, with pound CAD, again, for the most part, I am still quite bullish in this one. Looking at the bigger picture, there is that slight trajectory to the upside. So I am quite bullish here on pound CAD, and I do expect higher prices. But I can see there's clear signs of the trend slowing, and I can see prices eventually going to get ready for a bit of a drop. Now, I wouldn't necessarily try and forecast that too aggressively, because the trend is still up, and I would still look to try and trade that first before I do look for the reversal. I want to wait for break of structures, and then I'll start to talk more about the selling opportunities. For now, still very much just staying with the buyers, but we're very awkward right now. Very bearish candle coming back down. The market is quite flat. We're not necessarily trending very, very well. I do think price could eventually tick back to highs, but I'm going to need to see some bullish structure come into play. Price respecting support, momentum coming back into play, higher highs and higher lows. I'm going to need to see these type of opportunities before I do start buying. Right now, we're looking very, very awkward, and quite frankly, I don't see any opportunity of any value right now with pound CAD. Because, okay, if I am bullish, are we trading at any significant area to buy? No. I would say the market's quite flat right now, and we're basically in the middle of the range. Is there any aggressive momentum you can hop on? No. Yes, with the bears, sure, but even that, I wouldn't really be so keen to sell. So at the moment, I don't really see much of an opportunity. Not trading at any significant area. Momentum's not really there either. Yes, I do expect us to reach the high, but I don't know how we get there. So I would at least give it 24, 48 hours, let price develop, and then come back to see if there's a better opportunity. EuroCAD, this is a little bit cleaner, but still I don't see much of an opportunity just yet. Because again, at the moment, we do have a pretty clear uptrend at play. Similar to pound CAD, I do think we're tiring, and again, eventually going to have a pretty big move down, especially if I flick to the monthly chart really quickly. You can see we're taking out some major highs here. I do think we're going to run out of juice soon and have a pretty big move back down. So I'm kind of waiting for that in the back of my mind, but for the time being, I'm still going to just pay attention to the uptrend, because that's the main trend at play. When the sells come in, we'll talk more about that. So again, for EuroCAD, we are respecting support pretty well here. Really aggressive move there last Friday. It looks like for the most part, we've kind of just got a bit of consolidation here. What I would say for EuroCAD is, okay, if price can break to the upside here, okay, that shows me that we potentially got a bit of a trend coming into play. Momentum's coming back in for the buyers. We're starting to create consistent higher lows again. Yeah, at this point, I would love to take a buy there, because not only am I following the trend, but also the current momentum, the intraday momentum's on my side too. And at that point, you can keep it very simple. Let's say if you do catch the breakout, you can trade it back to the high, or maybe even back to the swing high up there as well if you want to be a bit more aggressive. So If you're looking at EuroCAD and PoundCAD, I'll probably focus a bit more on EuroCAD. It looks a little bit cleaner. PoundCAD actually looked cleaner yesterday, and I was talking a bit more about PoundCAD, but of course the news come into play and that skewed everything up. EuroCAD is actually looking a lot better now. It's not quite ready to be bought yet. I'll still wait for that push, the pullback and the next push. But at least I can kind of make sense of what price is doing. We've got clear uptrend, we're respecting support. Looks like we're seeing the start of a new intraday uptrend form. Let's see if we can take advantage of that as well. So yeah, EuroCAD looking a little bit better, but I would be remotely bullish for both of those pairs. Trend is still up, so for the most part, still looking to buy until we see some signs of reversal. Oh, okay, fair enough. Euro pound and Swiss yen for direction. True, that is very true. Yeah, I mean, you don't necessarily need to gauge euro pound to see if euro is stronger than pound. I mean, of course, you can just look at euro USD and pound USD, and that will tell you normally which one's moving faster, which one's a bit more stagnant. Will tell you which one's stronger or weaker. But of course, I suppose euro pound, Swiss yen, dollar yen, yeah, pretty much any cross will give you the answer maybe a bit quicker and a bit more kind of an informed one as well, because I don't know, your judgment could be flawed. But yeah, that's the same with me actually as well. If I'm looking to gauge euro and pound, yes, you can look at euro pound, but I probably already know the answer by going through price action of euro USD, going through price action of pound. Already tell me what's the situation is at. And even though they're very similar currency pairs as well, but you can clearly see there with the pound weakness compared to euro. Of course, they're both in bearish trajectories, but you can kind of see the current momentum is a bit strong with pound. But yeah, euro USD is not really a pair which I'm focusing on too much right now. Pound USD was the one I was quite focused on this morning, but looks like I've missed the move there, so I'm gonna see if I can catch the next pullback, or it's gonna have to move on to the next opportunity, unfortunately, because pound USD still got a bit of distance to go. I'm looking at this level here. There's still probably another day's worth of price action. I mean, we could do it today, to be honest, but I'll hope there's another day worth of price action, because maybe tomorrow we open up a little bit bullish, see a bit of a pullback, and then we go for it. And that could be a nice trade, like a 15-minute chart. If price can give us a last-minute pullback here, and that could be a lovely trade there on the 15. So that's kind of where the hope is now for pound USD, because I've missed this move here, and to be honest, difficult to catch, especially with the way I trade. I'm not really looking to trade inside consolidation, even though I was prepared to take the trade if price did sweep this high. But even that would have been an aggressive trade. The better trade would have been waiting for a price to take out this high, then find the trade. But yeah, news kicked in, really aggressive move down. Now this is kind of where the focus will lie. All right, cool, no problem. Holy one, okay. Okay, is that for Litecoin? Okay, cool. Catch you tomorrow. Have a good one. Hopefully we see a Litecoin drop as well. Yeah, I mean, for currency pairs as well, I don't really have much at the moment, because we've really seen some pretty big moves, in fairness, to start the week off. USD pairs have made some big moves. I mean, maybe this move on the dollar. Oh, look at that. It's already starting to push. I think we just missed it as well. Yeah, just missed it. I mean, I wasn't even looking to trade it, to be honest. Not the dollar itself, just because euro. This would be the equivalent ideal in euro. Euro actually made the test there. But the reason why I was looking to trade in euro is because we already hit the low there. So I don't like shorting once price has already made the low. I like shorting beforehand because I'm expecting price to get there. But now that we've already got there, I don't see much incentive to keep selling. So that's the reason why I wasn't really interested. In DXY's case, we haven't actually made the high yet, so it actually looks a bit more attractive on the DXY, but the DXY is not a market I trade. I just use it to gauge what the euro is doing. But yeah, DXY, I do think price is going to make a move back to the high. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with USD for now. What's up, Lighton? Yeah, they've definitely changed the names around. What's up, my man? Don't forget dollar yen. Thanks, no problem. Yeah, dollar yen. How's dollar yen doing? Still looking sort of bearish. Again, did miss the re-entry up here, unfortunately. I was in a short position yesterday on this candle, and I exited around here just before the daily candle closed, because I didn't really want to be in the position overnight, especially when spread would have widened. And quite frankly, the idea of taking an intraday position in the 50-minute chart and not being in profit by the end of the day is not really something I want to be holding overnight anyway. If it's a swing trade, I don't care, because I'm expecting to hold overnight. Intraday position, I don't mind holding overnight either, but I do want to be in profit. I want the stop loss to be trailed, and I want to be in a decent amount of profit. So worst case scenario, I wake up and price stop me out, break even, fair enough. But I don't want to be in a situation where price is going into spread hours, going into the daily rollover, where spread can widen, gaps can happen, and that could mess me up quite badly on the 50-minute chart. So I exited the position around here, so just above break even slightly, and then hopefully, because I was still looking at the short bias, I was still looking to see maybe if price can sweep these highs and then give us the move down. So that's what I was looking for, hopefully this morning. Basically repeating the pattern of what I was trading yesterday, which was, again, price created highs, we swept them. There's your wick rejection. That was the short that I took. So I was looking to see if that pattern could basically repeat in that phase there, which it did, but just not in the hours I trade, unfortunately. This was like coming up to 2 a.m., where I would have got the entry, and I woke up and price was already trading down there. So yeah, unfortunately missed the re-entry there for dollar yen. Now, do I really want to find a new entry? I mean, I still do kind of expect us to get here. Most of the yen pairs I'm expecting us to get to the prior lows. Most yen pairs have more or less done that. Dollar yen's probably one of the few that hasn't, primarily because dollar has been quite strong too. But do I really want to get back into this position? If I had to, it would have to be at the highs. And to be honest, I'm not too sure if I would, because again, when I'm looking to trade pullbacks, my expectation is that I'm trading the pullback because I'm likely to catch the low of the pullback, then I can swing it to the high, or vice versa, or catch the high of the pullback, swing into the low. So I wouldn't want to get involved here, because this is more of a late entry, kind of mid pullback, if that makes sense. Here this is where I want to be, because I can get my stop loss above the high, which allows me confidence to hold it into the low. Because if I'm anticipating this is the high, then technically speaking, I shouldn't see price action push higher than my stop loss. If it does, maybe I didn't catch the high, or maybe I'm in the wrong direction. Whereas here, I can very much see price hit my stop loss and still very much play out without sweeping the high. And that's how you take multiple losses unnecessarily. So if I'm looking to enter dollar yen, I need price to be back at resistance again, which, if we do it nice and correctively, could actually be a nice trade. But I said this morning, if price picks up some momentum and aggressively pushes to resistance, I would back away. That would be a good idea, because this is still somewhat of an aggressive trade, I would say, because if you look at the bigger picture, the trend is up. So taking shorts here, we are going against the trend, which doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad trade, just means a slightly more aggressive position. You know, the odds are always a bit more stacked with you if you're going with the higher time frames rather than against them. And that's kind of the case we have now. So the shorts for dollar yen do make sense. It's just we want them to be of good quality to justify going against a higher time frame momentum. So yeah, I'm not really seeing a great opportunity to re-enter dollar yen right now. Maybe if we are super corrective on the way up, I might consider it, but we have to be super corrective. If we see some strength, I'll probably just leave it alone. But yeah, I'm expecting a push here. It's just I don't see much of an opportunity to actually enter the trade. What's up, Livia? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're good. I'm doing good. Thank you. Okay, cool. Aussie New Zealand sell intraday. We can take a look at that. What do you think you should play? Should take profit. Okay, let's have a look. See. Lighter, what am I going to do for you, my man? You just watched me do all that analysis on USD JPY, and you wanted me to look at USDR. To be fair, I should have known. I blame myself there. I should have known you meant USDR. I'm joking. Anyway, actually, I'm on USDR now. Let me go take a look at NZD first. Then I'll go to USDR. So yeah, in terms of AUD NZD, Olivia said you're short intraday. Okay, momentum's looking really good at the moment. Where should I place my take profit? Well, if you want to keep things ultra simple, back at the prior low. You're not looking at anything too crazy there. The likelihood of price getting to that low at this moment in time looks really, really high. Price could go a lot further. The reason why I say that is because of where we're trading in the higher time frames. If I expand to the weekly chart, we've come to major resistance here. If we look to the left, there could be a pretty big decline here potentially, maybe even to retest these prior highs. But as you mentioned, you are intraday, so you're not necessarily looking for the crazy move. You can always leave a small amount to trail if you want to. But if you're just intraday, you want to keep it very simple, I would say just back to that low really, because if you look at how prices moved, we've had a very aggressive drop. I believe that was last Friday. Yeah, really aggressive drop. This bullish move looks like it's just been a correction of that bearish move. So the likelihood of price now coming back to the low, especially with the current momentum, is pretty high. And if you are just looking at intraday, that would make the most sense. Now, I'm not too sure where you've entered, but a push back into that low would make the most sense. And if you really want to push the trade, I would say perhaps this consolidation just below. So that would be 1.127. Nice demand zone, gave us a pretty nice breakout. If we were going to see some new lows, that's where I could expect it to happen. But that's where I would have a take profit. And judging on current momentum, it looks likely we're probably going to get there. But Aussie New Zealand dollar is a choppy chart, so I wouldn't be too overly confident. Momentum looks good now, but we could still very much form some type of wider range. So as price gets the support, keep an eye on things. If we start rejecting really strongly, perhaps it's time to get out of the position. It's not a pair that normally trends well. I know we've trended pretty well over the past couple of weeks, but normally that isn't the case. Anywho, take a look at USDR. So USDR looking really bullish. Looks like we're headed back to resistance again. We talked about buys yesterday, didn't we? I think we did. Yeah, we did, because I remember, yeah, price had this move, then had the pullback, yeah. I talked about a buy here, which actually did play out pretty well, but in an awkward time period though, that would be the daily crossover, so you're probably really not looking to trade it at that time. But nonetheless, really nice move there. And now we're back at resistance. So we haven't quite taken out that low. It would have been nice to take out that low, to be honest, but it looks like we haven't taken out the low. This, of course, is a very crucial level of support resistance. It could send us right back down again if it does hold well. Likewise, if you do see a major break above it, I could expect a lot more upside back to this high, maybe even that high there. So either which way, I'm expecting a pretty big move, whether we break above or respect the resistance. Judging momentum and how everything's looking, I kind of do expect us to break above. We've been super corrective as price has broken through, and suddenly we're seeing a lot of strength with the buyers. Doesn't really give me a lot of confidence that price is about to roll back over. So I kind of do expect USDR to break through, but of course we'll wait for it to happen. Then if we do get a strong breakout, then of course you're basically looking for the next pullback. If I drop to an intraday chart, you got your massive push there. There's your pullback. This is your next push. Looking for the next pullback. At least at this point, you're above major support. Then you're looking for your next push. I'll say next big target would be a resistance along there, 17.7. You can round it down to 17.75 if you want to keep things a little bit more symmetrical. But yeah, to me, USDs are looking likely to break above resistance, but let's not jump the gun. Let's actually wait for it to break resistance and see how it does it as well. But if we do get back above that, buys make the most sense to me. No problem. Livia, happy to help. Is that... The thing is, because the names have changed, so I don't know... Because I don't remember saying Newton before, but I think I do recognize the profile picture. I can't remember what your name was prior to this, but yeah, what is up, Newton? I'll call you Newton from now on. It's because YouTube's changed the names around, or I don't know how. So I'm recognizing people in their profile pics more than the name now. But welcome to the stream, which is yeah, coming to a close. So yeah, the focus for me probably will just come from the yen pairs. Now, I'll keep eye for last minute pullbacks on pound because I'm very interested there. I do think pound still got that drop into 1.315, we'll call it. It's just a big if we will get some intraday pullbacks, drop to the 15. So yeah, it's just a big if. I mean, something like this would be very nice. It's just, you know, will price do it? Maybe it doesn't. If it does, great, I'll be there to trade it. If it doesn't, or hopefully I'll be there to trade it. If it doesn't, then yeah, I'll move on. And then with the yen pairs, I'm being a bit more patient. I'm expecting big moves in the yen pairs because of what's happening with the yen basket right now and how we're trading. If I go to the weekly chart, you can see we're trading at a very pivotal low right now. Major support dating back to November 2024, practically a year ago. Really big push to the upside. We've just gone and wicked through that last week. Is price finding support here to reverse? It could be. If it is, that tells me there's a lot of momentum coming into play for the yen pairs and some big reversals. So I'm getting excited from a swing perspective and from an intraday perspective as well. I don't think it's quite ready yet, but I'm leaning towards this. If of course we do break through, then yeah, I'll look to reinvestigate that. But for now, let's see if we can get that reversal. And if we do, I'll be looking at some more shorts in dollar yen, more shorts in pound yen, euro yen, you name it yen. I'm looking to try and short that. And I think over the course of the week, we should know what's the play. Yeah, I can see your name, LFTJ. I can see your name. Even Lighton's name's different. But anyway, guys, appreciate you tuning in. I do apologize for the weird technical issue we had kind of mid through the stream, but looks like everything has been all right since then. If you guys have enjoyed the stream, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. It does really help out. And of course, check out the members if you do want added perks, trade ideas, members only videos. Check it out if you are interested to support the channel further. I will be live again tomorrow, same time as always, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. If I do get any other ideas, I'll let you know. And if I do have any other trades that I do take, of course, I'll break it down in the stream tomorrow. I'm not too sure if I do take a trade today, unless pound USD has a last minute pullback. Probably not. I mean, I'm giving pound USD the whole week to pull back. It doesn't have to happen today necessarily. But yeah, I'm not too sure if I do take a position today. So it might be a bit more of a day where I just kind of keep an eye on price, not being too active. Any which way, I'll let you guys know, of course, by tomorrow's stream. If you have enjoyed this one, drop a like before you do leave and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Really appreciate you all tuning in, and I hope to see you all tomorrow. Have a good one, guys. See you on the next one.
Six AI agents, each built with a unique edge. Miko, AI, Team Leader. Ori AI, Fundamental Analyst. XAUUSD, AI, Technical Analyst. Mesa, AI, Risk Management Specialist. Fenwa, AI Market Sentiment Analyst. And Naledi AI, the cryptocurrency expert. Together, they're engineered to protect, guide, and transform your trading. The future of trading is here. Experience Zentrix AI